And we're back. And we're here with our second guest for this episode, S.L. Bergen, Lauren Bergen. May I call you Lauren?
Sure.
All the way from British Columbia. Listen, she is the author of Tales of Prophecy, Volume 1. And this is the first book out of 7. And there are others that are on the way. Volume 2 has already been written. And then Volume 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 has already been written in your spirit. And so that'll be coming really soon. Welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome. Can I call you Lauren?
Sure.
Okay. Welcome. Tell me a little bit about yourself before we get into the book.
Okay. I am a mining engineer, and I'm also a parent. I have 7 children, and I think 12 grandchildren now.
Okay.
My youngest is 18, and my oldest is a lot older.
A lot older. You said a mining engineer.
Yeah.
Now, of course, whenever I hear that, living in Georgia, I think of, in that deep, dark cave with the hat and the big light in the front. Oh, that's just TV. Is that how it really is?
Mining is not just with the light on your, on your head. I am a mining engineer.
Uh-huh.
A mining engineer is someone who looks at what is out there and tries to apply it to achieve a goal.
Mm-hmm.
And it's in the mine, so you can do it in the rocks, getting the precious stuff out of the ground, or
Like
you can
gold.
do it in the mill, like gold. Yes.
And I heard you refer to gold as the tears of God. I will never forget that as long as I live. Gold, the tears of God. Well, listen, the Tales of Prophecy, the Land of the Butterflies, a prelude to prophecy. This is a very interesting piece of literature. Tell me about it.
The first one here is this fellow on the front here is York Sabastin. He is a prophet. He lives on a planet that very far away. They believe that they live in the heart of God, and they are instruments of God, and they are given the task of God to go out into the universe and help bring upon it the kingdom of God.
And the name of the planet again is?
The Land of the Butterflies.
The Land of Butterflies.
Yeah.
Okay. And they're not Christians, but they are?
They are Maquis.
Maquis. Explain Maquis to me. What is that?
They are molders of the mud. They gather what God has created and try to form it to the will of God.
That is very interesting. They are molders of God, you said?
Yeah.
They take the clay to turn it into what God will have it to be.
That's right. To have it follow the will of God.
Awesome. Okay, so in your book, this is a lot of reading, but it's a lot of good reading, I must say. There's a lot of good reading. I'm looking at chapter 32, Where There Is Hope. Okay, the morning brought another day alive with the sound of gurgling water. That's one of those Canadian words, gurgling. Okay. Hearing the sounds of spring everywhere in the castle. So they have castles in the Land of Butterflies.
Yeah, they keep, their women are very separated from their men. They are considered very precious, and they are not allowed to wander around. They actually are the most powerful of the species, but they live in a segregated castle where there are no males, except for children under the age of
I don't want to go to the Land of Butterflies. I don't want to go
No,
there.
the men
Because
live in the cities.
I can't get to the women.
No, you can't.
I'm just
But you can't. But you can't. But if you are a sire,
So how do they have children if the men can't get to the women?
because they are governed by a panel. They call it the panel. That's
Okay.
their, and they can give a man a license to sire, and then he can make an application to a castle and become their sire.
Well, that
And
kind of
he
like
can-
sounds like planet Earth. You got to have a license to have the woman.
Well, you gotta have you gotta have
You
a
got to have a
license.
marriage license. Okay.
The castle is full of basically sisters and they're children.
Okay.
And there's only one male in a.
You have a very creative mind. I can't wait to take a look at your other books also. The Price of Hope. I saw that in here. The Price of Hope, chapter 31. The Price of Love. I'm sorry. The Price of Love.
Well, the whole story is about a cultural judge, is what they call the I guess what do you call it? I guess they're prophets, the ones that are working with God. He was given an assignment, and he was asked to give the answer to the question: should this civilization on Earth be destroyed? And his job was to answer yes or no. So he is basically the guy that's doing that Judgment Day thing that we've been talking about forever.
Yeah.
And his job was to make that decision as to whether we should be destroyed.
Sonora.
Sonora?
Yeah.
That is another castle.
Oh, that's another castle. So Sonora comes home.
Sonora comes home because he, in order to learn the lessons that God has told him he needs to learn in order to judge Earth, that he needed to be a father. Without understanding a father's love, how can you judge the Earth?
Okay.
And he was kind of a powerful man, and God told him to go to a particular castle. But that castle did not meet the requirements of his license. And so therefore, he had to figure out how to change their culture enough to be able to amalgamate two castles to meet the requirements of his license. And Sonora was that second castle.
This is so interesting. This is so interesting. I wish I had a British accent to read this. Tara and York awoke to a knock on York's door. Sire, you will be late for breakfast if you do not hurry. York recognized Kions.
Yeah.
Okay. In Georgia, it's Keon. Okay. Kion's voice. I will be right there. Take the others and head to the kitchen. Do not wait for me. I have slept in. So York and Tara
is the leader of Lacker, which is the castle that he is a sire in.
So each castle has a name.
Each castle has a name.
Okay.
Yeah. It's sort of similar to our surnames, but they're identified by that. The castle has to create all the food, everything that is needed.
You said surname. That's the equivalent of
like
your last name.
Your last name.
Yeah. Okay. Like Pringle is my surname.
Surname. Yeah.
Okay. So Tara. Okay. And what about York?
York is the sire.
York is the sire. And what is a sire?
A sire is a male whose job is to protect all the females in the castle from any outside males that may want to take over. He has to be the sire of all the generations.
He keeps
all the children. He
okay.
doesn't have one woman. He looks after all the fertile women in the castle.
Oh, so he's a lucky guy.
He's a lucky guy. Well, it depends on the way you want to look at it. Is he a lucky man? I mean, do you really want to have to look after 200 women?
Please don't act. No, I'm just.
Not really. I mean, you want.
I know some guys that will love that job.
But well, they may love it in one sense, but they also can be executed if they upset.
Yeah. Listen, I have an Uncle Smokey who would answer. He would love to be a watcher over 200 women. A few uncles. If my Uncle Smokey is listening, please disregard that comment. That's back in the day. That's the old Smokey. This is a very interesting piece of literature. You are extremely creative You are a very talented writer. Where can we find Tales of Prophecy? Well, not me. I have mine now. Where can they find Tales of Prophecy?
Barnes and Noble and on Amazon.
And on Amazon.com?
Yeah.
Okay. And where it's available, also ebook, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Listen, are you willing to change your soul? Judgment Day is upon us. York Sabastin, am I saying that correctly? Has been assigned our instrument of creation. Heed his lessons. Let him be your guardian. Reach for the kingdom of God. York Sabastin is a cultural judge on a distant planet called Land of the Butterflies. So there's a lot of butterflies.
They call the women butterflies.
Oh, wow. The women are called butterflies. Okay, that sounds like a Stevie Wonder song that I know. Okay. His people believe they are instruments of creation, bred to carry out the will of God throughout the entire universe. York has just returned from the planet Torac.
Yep.
Okay. And his solution raised hopes that he was a prophet. This is interesting. I want to get a blanket in front of my fireplace with some hot cocoa and just take some time to read this book. I may not finish it all in one night. How many pages?
Well, I think that one's about 700.
700. It's a whole lot going on with those butterflies.
There is a whole lot going on.
But York is the man. I'm not going to forget about York. York is the man. Listen, thank you for joining us. Thank you for being with us, Lauren. And I'm sure you all have enjoyed hearing about Tales of a Prophecy. Go find it, purchase it, and share it with your family. Thank you for joining us with another episode of Books of the Month. See you next week, same time, same place. God bless you all.